This is the inside of the Elddis Autoquest 175. If I firstly move to the main control panel, I can turn the 12 volt on the master switch just at the bottom here. Once we've done this, you'll get a reading at the top here on the leisure battery itself. We then have this switch here which says lights, and this will just do the top lighting just here. All the other lighting in the motorhome can then be turned on and off on their own individual switches. Awning light on and off just here. We then have water, so this will then indicate on here how much water is in the tank, and you just go by the blue gauge. Water pump on and off just here. We need the water pump on so we can get water out of the taps, flush the toilet and fill the boiler if it has been drained down. Whenever the pump itself is running, the green light will illuminate, and the red light above that will illuminate when the grey water tank needs emptying. We then have tank heaters on and off just here, so both the fresh and the waste tank have heaters. If it's in the on position like it is now, the tank heaters will come on if the temperature outside drops below about 3 or 4 degrees and there is water in the tanks. Beneath that, we then have the whale control panel for the heating and hot water. So you'll see at the moment they're both off. If I start with the water heater just here, as I begin to press the button, we get a series of icons until we end up back at off. So if we start with the first icon just here, little picture of a snowflake, this is the boiler's frost protection. So if you don't necessarily want to be heating up hot water, you can just pop it on here and it will just keep the boiler above freezing to avoid frost damage. Next we have a single wavy line. Wavy lines represent mains electricity. So I'd now be heating hot water on main supply at about 1 kilowatt. We then have 2 wavy lines, same main supply at 2 kilowatts. So those 2 settings there, very handy, dependent on the ampage of the site you're in, to try and avoid tripping. If we have no mains connected, we can run on gas with a little picture of the flame. And what we can also do on this particular model is run in dual fuel, so a mixture of gas and mains at 1 kilowatt or a mixture of gas and mains at 2 kilowatts. These 2 settings are very handy, especially in the winter months if you want to get up to temperature nice and quickly. And whenever the unit is consuming gas, a little flame will appear. If I now drop to the heating, you'll see a series of icons again until we eventually end up back at off. So 1 wavy line, again main supply, but this time at about 500 watts. Main supply at 1 kilowatt. And then main supply at 2 kilowatts. Gas again on its own. And then dual fuel again. Temperature control on the plus and the minus. And whale recommend dropping all the way down to the little picture of the moon if you need your heating on whilst you're asleep. It will keep the temperature at about 16 degrees and it will also keep the fan nice and quiet. As you can see, we just had an error code appear up here. All I now need to do is just hold the button in and you'll see we get a series of red lights, and then within the manual it will tell us what the problem is. To reset it, all you need to do is just hold the heating button in and then press the plus button, and that will then put the error out and then it'll attempt to light again. I would imagine it's a gas issue this time because the gas bottles have just been connected and there may be a bit of air in the system. As you can see, the water heater has now lit on gas. It's now just failed again. If it keeps failing, what you can also do is what is known as a hard reset. And if I now just move to the bench seat just here and remove the cushions, and I now just lift up here, we can see the top of the boiler just here and then we also have the space heater just here. Both of them have hard reset buttons. So on the boiler we have it just here with this red button. So if you've got a red exclamation mark that just will not clear down, just come here, just keep pressing this, have another person stare at the screen, and when the red exclamation mark goes out, it's then reset. And then it's a little bit more difficult to see on the boiler. You do have to move these out of the way, and it's just tucked down here. And again, just keep pressing this until the error disappears, and then try to use the space heater again. I have already pressed this button and it has already reset the control panel, and if I now return and again fire up the heating, it should now get the flame. You can also get an error appear if you've had your heating running and then you've turned it off and then you've quickly turned off the master switch because it hasn't allowed it to do its cool down. This can also throw up an error code. And there we go, now working perfectly. If I now just return back again and focus my attention again on the boiler itself, to drain the boiler down for winterization, it is just done on the yellow lever just here. Firstly, make sure that the water pump is turned off, and then it's just a matter of just turning at this point here, and then it will drain all the water out of the boiler underneath the van. If you're fully winterizing the van, I always suggest that you then go around and open up all the taps as well, because this will release any airlocks in the system and make it drain down much more efficiently. When it comes to refilling, make sure that the lever is back in the position it is at the moment. Close all the taps in the van, fill up the fresh water tank, and then turn on the water pump, and it will begin to refill the boiler. Let the boiler run for a few minutes and then begin opening the taps. They'll cough and splutter as they force the air out of the system. Once the water is running freely on both hot and cold, reclose and the system will fully reprime itself. Also underneath here you'll find the gas isolation tap for the boiler. It's in the on position, and quite frankly it can just stay like that. I always say if you do smell gas in the van, just go to the source and turn off the gas bottle. Underneath the opposite bench seat, again, there is storage. You'll also see the back of the battery box just there, and the main 25 amp fuse off the battery, and then the gas isolation tap for the heating. And then beside that we have the consumer unit. So we have the main trip switches just here. So we've got the individual MCBs, main RCD and test button just here. So if anything is not working on mains electricity, just check to see if you've tripped at this point here. And then beneath that we have the 12 volt fuses, again all labelled up. So if anything is not working on 12 volt, again just see if a fuse is blown. TV bracket just here, and then we have the aerial fly lead input just there, 12 volt plug and a main socket, and then in the overhead locker you'll find the TV aerial itself. Digital amplifier just here, on and off just underneath here. Always make sure it's on before attempting to tune a telly in, and control the boost on the dial here. To raise the mast of the aerial, undo the collar and then just push up, and then manoeuvre it into the position you require, and then re-lock again. At the moment the aerial is in the horizontal position. It can be flipped into a vertical position for additional tuning if required, and you just need to turn the tail just here. Always make sure that the aerial is down for travel. Microwave just here. This will work when the motorhome's connected to mains electricity. Always advisable to remove all contents for travel. And this is an eco microwave, so you do need to press the eco button first to wake it up. We then have auto cook at the top here, defrost, etc. Fast cook, so if you need to heat up a cup of coffee, etc. Then we have time set, and then we have quick start right at the very bottom just here. The microwave is plugged in the overhead locker just here, and then also in here is the solar panel regulator. You can connect up to this particular regulator via Bluetooth on your phone or tablet, etc. to see exactly what it's up to. This particular solar panel and regulator will smart charge both the leisure battery and vehicle battery. Beneath the microwave is the Dometic fridge freezer, on and off just here. And at the moment I am running it on mains supply with the picture of the 2-pin plug. If I have no mains connected, I can run on gas. These particular fridge freezers will auto light themselves. If it fails to light, a red light will begin to flash just here, indicating that something has gone wrong. Again, this can sometimes occur when you've changed the bottle over, or if the bottle has depleted or is not turned on. To make it attempt to relight itself again, just press the button here. Next we have 12 volt maintain. This is what we have it on to keep the fridge cold whilst on the move. It will only work whilst the engine is running. So at the moment, if I press it, you'll see we get a red flashing indicator letting us know. Temperature control just here. And then we have the large freezer box. This can be removed if required. And to vent the fridge when not in use, just push this part in and then slide towards you, and this will then allow the door to hold on a jar. Behind me we have the hob. So it's just a matter of push in, twist, and then come down and push the igniter just here. And then beneath that we have the grill. Again, push in, twist, and press the igniter. And then the oven. Beneath the oven you'll find storage again, and gas isolation taps for the hob and the oven. The gas isolation tap for the fridge is just located opposite the oven, just here. And if I now move into the washroom, got the basin just here. And then the Thetford toilet. The bowl does swivel. Open to the cassette just on the grey lever just here. and then push to flush on the blue button. Level indicator just here, so this will illuminate to let you know when the cassette needs emptying, and then close to the cassette again just on the lever. If this has been left open and you try to remove the cassette from the outside, it will not come out. So if you do feel resistance, just make sure that nobody's left it open. We then have the shower cubicle just here. Make sure that the shower doors are closed for travel. Nice big wardrobe just here, and then a chest of drawers, and then the freestanding table just here. Both the passenger and driver's seats swivel round, and they just swivel round on the lever just here, and then it's just a matter of pulling the front lever to slide backwards and forwards to get it into the position you require, and they're height adjustable on these two levers just here. The beauty of this particular model is that you can have either two good size single beds or one very large double. If you're going to have a double bed, it's just a matter of slightly lifting up and then pulling out, and then doing exactly the same again on the opposite side, and then just dropping the cushions into place. I personally prefer to flip the cushions onto their backs because it makes them less bumpy, but it is just down to personal preference. Smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarms just here.